So a couple of days ago, I put up a questionnaire on my Instagram story. Ask me anything you want to ask me about MMA and I will answer it. So I, Tony Has Died, will be answering your MMA questions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that YouTube shit. Let's try to hit 400 likes on this video and let's get straight into the first question, which is, this question was asked by Bloodshot MMA and he asks, how do you think the UFC will be after Dana retires? So when Dana White does eventually retire, I think there will be an initial panic, but I do think that when he retires, he'll name a successor. So I think that the successor will most likely be Hunter Campbell. And I honestly think that Hunter Campbell is probably going to be a better leader for the UFC than Dana White if he does end up taking his job in the end. Just because Dana White has sold most of his share in the company at this point, and he's kind of more focused on side ventures like promoting Callum Walsh, promoting his fucking his bull, promoting cards. Yeah, he's doing everything but promoting the UFC. So I honestly think that he does need to get replaced, and when he does get replaced, I think that Hunter Campbell will be a perfect replacement for him. I think there'll be some initial panic. In the end, I think that Hunter Campbell will probably do a better job than Dana. The next question that gets asked, and this was asked by UFC_mixtapes, he says, chances Shavkat becomes the champ in 2026 in this stacked division. Now listen, when Shavkat was matched against Bilal, I still would pick Shavkat to beat Bilal, but I just don't. I love Shavkat. He's one of my favorite fighters, but I don't think he's going to be good enough to beat JDM. And here's why. Shavkat is not a wrestler. What you need to defeat JDM is great grappling, and yes, Shavkat has great grappling, but it's not good enough to defeat JDM. In the striking department, yes, Shavkat could probably hang with JDM, but he just, like, if you watch the Jeff Neal fight with Shavkat, he gets hit so much in that fight. His head movement isn't very good. Now, you could say that JDM is kind of overrated power-wise, and he wouldn't be able to finish Shavkat, which is fair, but if that fight does happen, I think, like, JDM will probably be like I would go 65% JDM, 35% Shavkat. So I do think that Shavkat would beat Sean Brady. I think he would be probably beat Buckley. He already beat Gary. So yeah, I think Shavkat probably beats most of the division, but he's just so injury prone. I just don't know if he'll be able to get the belt, but I hope he does. This next question is by Dana White's cousin, and he says, just how good is Benoit Saint-Denis? Listen, man, Benoit's the fucking GOAT, man. If you don't think Benoit's the GOAT, just go ahead and unsubscribe right now, bro. I don't want you on. I'm just kidding. Regarding Benoit Saint-Denis, if we look at the lightweight rankings, I think there's only a couple of people in the rankings that I think he could beat. I definitely think he could beat Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler is old. He's washed. He just doesn't even have a jab. Yeah, I think Benoit Saint-Denis can definitely beat Michael Chandler. And that's really about it. The only other person I say in the rankings that Benoit would even have a chance against is Grant Dawson. I still think Grant Dawson probably wins that fight, but just because Grant Dawson doesn't really have a finishing ability on the feet, like, he's not going to out damage Benoit, so he'd have to win by a boring lay and pray. I think that Grant Dawson could maybe lose to BSD, but those are the only two people in the division that I would probably pick BSD. Everyone else, Islam, Oliveira, Dustin, Gaethje, Hooker, Gamrot, Pimblett, Dariush, Moicano, Fiziev, Yoel Alvarez, I think they all starch BSD. So besides those guys, I think that's how good BSD is. This next question is dinner with Ion Cutelaba or dinner with Fluffy Hernandez, bro. I definitely would pick dinner with Fluffy Hernandez. Just look at the guy, bro. Look at him. Does he not look like he's eating good, bro? Does he not look like he can cook up some fucking nice, like, carne asada type shit, bro? Like, if you get invited to the cookout by Fluffy Hernandez, you're going to want to come to the fucking cookout every single time, bro. I bet this motherfucker knows how to cook. And then you look at Cutelaba. Bro, I bet Cutelaba's on, like, a strict-ass diet, like, probably just eating grilled chicken and rice every single day, you know. I'm definitely going to pick Fluffy, bro. So that's who I would go eat dinner with. This next question is, rate Yuri Prohaska out of 10. Probably go 7 or 8 out of 10. In terms of light heavyweight legacy, I think he'd probably be in, like, the top 15 light heavyweights of all time. Wins over Reyes, wins over Jamal Hill, Rakic, Uzdemir, but losing to Alex Pereira twice by knockout is a very, very bad look. Bruh, this next question says, How does John Jones blocking you affect your legacy? You know, man, I honestly think it elevates my legacy to a whole nother level, to be completely honest. This fucking petition thing's got almost 30,000 people by the time of this recording, maybe even more. I saw fucking Sports Illustrated did an article on it. I'm gonna take that John Jones user not found screenshot and hang it in the fucking Louvre, bro. I'm gonna hang it up in my house. I'm gonna put it on the fridge next to my like kindergarten drawings, bro. But yeah, I think John Jones' legacy is cooked, and my legacy has been elevated. It says, besides John and Tom, does it seem like all the heavyweights are being quiet? Yeah, all the other heavyweights are being fucking quiet because they all lost to John and Tom. Gon lost to John, obviously, and then Tom has beaten everybody else. They have nothing to say except wanting John to vacate so they can get their rematch against Tom, bro. So yeah, of course they're going to be quiet because they don't have anything to say about what's going on. But Volkov should be getting a shot against Tom, really, if we're keeping it 100, but it's not going to happen. This one says top 5 UFC fighter walkout songs. All right, we're going to go Ilia Topuria, we're going to go Dustin Poirier, we're going to go Volkanovski, we're going to go the Korean Zombie, and we're going to go, I don't know, either like Sean O'Malley or... Nah, Jan Blachowicz, bro. We're going to go Jan Blachowicz for the 5th one. So those are my top 5 walkout songs right now. This one says, can I beat it to your profile picture? I mean, go ahead, bro. What can I do to stop you? All right, next question. This one says, Ilia Topuria versus prime Tony Ferguson. Who would win and how? I think that prime Ilia would spark Tony out cold. Tony does have a size advantage over Ilia, but Tony just got hit too much even in his prime, bro. I just think Ilia is him. I think Ilia is probably going to go down as the best fighter of all time by the end of his career, bro. This one says, who is the most underrated fighter of all time? Honestly, I think that it's Jan Blachowicz, and here's why. He debatably beat Alex Pereira. He debatably beat Ankalaev. Those are already 2 top 10 light heavyweights. He has wins over Adesanya. He has the win over Dominic Reyes, and there was the Reyes that just beat John Jones. Beat Luke Rockhold, beat Jacare Souza, beat Corey Anderson, beat Rakic, beat Krylov, beat Cannonier. Jan Blachowicz is definitely highly underrated in my opinion. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Alright, so this question asks, what are your 5 favorite retired fighters? Also, who would win between Prime Stipe and Kane in like 2016? I'd probably go with Stipe on that. I just think he's a better fighter than Kane. I think he'd be able to stuff the takedowns. But my 5 favorite retired fighters, Jose Aldo, definitely up there. Chuck Liddell, definitely would go Don Fry, just because I met him in person and he was super cool, bro. His hands were like, dude, when I shook Don Fry's hand, he had the most fucking manly hand I've ever shaken. Like, I felt like I was literally in like a fucking commercial, bro, for manliness. I can't really name another 2. Probably like DC or like Glover was pretty cool. Korean Zombie was pretty cool. But those are definitely some people that I like that are retired. But yeah. This next one says India or Pakistan. I'm going to pick Israel and to win this one, bro. I think Israel got it, bro. This question says, how many signatures do you think it will take for the UFC to notice the petition? I honestly think that some reporter will probably end up asking Dana a question about the petition at some press conference. Probably the press conference coming up with O'Malley and Merab. Someone will probably ask him. Like, do I actually think that Dana will listen to the petition? Probably not, bro. Favorite current welterweight? Shavkat Rakhmonov. This one says, what's next in the light heavyweight division? I think the UFC will probably just wait for Pereira versus Ankalaev in Abu Dhabi, if I had to guess, that October card. Yeah, I think Ankalaev wants to fight earlier. I don't think that he'll be able to do that. This one says, where do I rank Dillashaw all time? All time in terms of like greatest fighters of all time, I don't even know where I'd put him. Probably around like the 40 to 30 range, something like that. But in terms of bantamweights, I think Cruz is better than him. I think Merab is better than him. I think Aljamain Sterling is better than him. I think Peter Yan is better than him. Hot take, but I think O'Malley has a better legacy than Dillashaw at this point in time. Has a win over Yan and Aljo. It's debatable if Cejudo's better than him. I'll put him over Cejudo, honestly. But yeah, probably around the 5 spot in terms of great bantamweights. This one says, who is your favorite fighter and why? My favorite fighter all time is Dustin Poirier. And the reason I like Dustin so much is he just always puts on an entertaining fight no matter what, bro. Like, you've never watched a boring Dustin Poirier fight in your life, ever. He has crazy highlight reels. He's super high level, fun to watch, fun style. So yeah, I love Dustin. Okay, so this one says, what fight would you make for Max Holloway after the Poirier fight for if he wins or if he loses? If he loses, he obviously has to fight down in the division, not getting a title shot off a loss. So I think I would probably make him fight. Win or lose, I would like to see a rematch of Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira. So if Charles beats Topuria, which I don't really think will happen, then obviously you can't run Max versus... Well, actually you could. So you could give Max a title shot. If Oliveira beats Topuria, you could do Max versus Oliveira. If Oliveira loses to Topuria, you could do Max versus Oliveira. If Holloway loses to Dustin, you could still do Max Holloway versus Oliveira. So I think that's the fight to make after the Dustin fight. This one says, Ian Gary's son or Aline Perez's daughter. Suicide. This one says, favorite game of all time. I'd go Skyrim. This one says, is Mauricio Ruffy the future of lightweight? And honestly, I don't think we can answer this question until we see him fight someone that's high level, because they've just been feeding him a bunch of cans to crush. Now, if you watch his fight with James Lontop, he actually shows a lot of weaknesses in that fight. But in the first round, he is a really good fighter first round. But after that, who knows if like Mauricio Ruffy could go 5 rounds, or if he could defend takedowns, or if he has submission defense. We don't really know at this point, but if it's going off by the rest of his teammates, I think he does have a good chance in the division. This one says, what is your personal favorite fighting style to watch in MMA? For example, I think Dricus is his favorite, I guess. I don't really know. But my favorite fighting style to probably watch is boxing. I just love someone that, like, I don't know, just... It's so clean to watch a good boxing in MMA. Like, someone try to shoot takedowns on a boxer, them just stuff it, get in their face, fucking just hit some good, like, combos, you know what I mean? So I think boxing is probably my favorite style to watch in MMA. This one says, biggest robbery you've seen on a decision. Obviously, Jones-Reyes is the biggest robbery of all time. But in recent history, I'd have to go with Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. I think Volkov clearly won that fight. Arguably 3-0 for Volkov. But somehow Gane got the decision. So this one says, who invented calf kicks? People forget, man. This one says, what do you think about all the hate that Jamal Hill gets? Me personally, I like Jamal Hill. I think that people take it a little too far sometimes when they're talking about Hill. He's just trying to build hype for the fights. This is going to be a hot take. I'd rather someone be like Ian Gary than be like fucking Stipe. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, Stipe is one of the greatest fighters of all time. But he barely has any fans because he doesn't talk shit. He doesn't like make a fucking point to talk shit or like create interest in his fights. So I'd much rather a fighter be annoying so that I can root against them than just be an NPC. You know what I mean? The next question is, Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis won. Was that fight a robbery or was it a fair decision? I honestly think that Strickland won the fight, but I definitely wouldn't call it a robbery. Every time I rewatch that fight, I switch my opinion on round 2. Like, one day I'll score it for Dricus, the other day I'll score it for Strickland. Very close fight. I don't really think you could call that fight a robbery. And the last question on this questionnaire is, can I hold $5? DM me, bro. I got you. I'll send you $5. Okay, that's it for the video. If you liked the video, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.